Hey guys, Monk52 here, of course, and today we're discussing the Izumo. Now, let's see how that derpy turret works and those shell catchers at the back. Alright, let's take a look. So, modules. I recommend the aiming systems, number one. Pretty good. Not really much other choices, really. You could go main barrier mod, but meh. Propulsion mod is life. Damage control is also a very good option. Steering gears I wouldn't recommend. It's either propulsion or damage control. Concealment mod, pretty nice, and then main battery mod, because those are your main battery guns. Recommended upgrades, I recommend first, that is either range or hull. I quite like the hull, but range is more comfortable to play with, of course. So obviously range or hull first, and then last but not least, get your get your engine upgrade, definitely. You want to be getting those two first though, definitely either range or hull. Hull does give you a massive increase to your rudder shift by about 6 seconds, I think. Yeah, 6.3 seconds, plus a bit more AA, which is always nice. So you do get that. It does help you out quite a bit with the hull upgrade. Go for commander of choice, just standard commander, tanky, full accuracy build using Phoenix, which is quite useful if that restores your HP. The amount of HP that is restored. Full accuracy with drill bits, you can run reaching out for a bit more range, but more accuracy. Cunningham and Scharnhorst. If you don't have Scharnhorst, you could use Iachino. Paladin Revel, or even Lotorio if you have her as well. These are all pretty good inspirations. You could also use Kondo for Battleship detectability, as it is the most detectable tier 8 at the minute. Alternative camera, you could use an anime commander, you could use Aelfissel with the tank build, or even Godzilla with a tank build, and you could use the Jujard for additional penetration, though I don't feel it's actually needed. It's not bad in terms of penetration. So, armor scheme, actually pretty good. Probably the best out of all the Japanese battleships. Maybe second to Yamato, but even still, very good. 32mm nose at first glance there, but internal plating of red armor thickness or above, so not bad at all actually. Considering the amount of 32 is actually quite thin, you've got a 38mm torpedo protection belt, which will bounce Yamato shells. To superstructure, it does actually look kind of small, particularly for a Japanese boat. There's not much to farm there. There is a little bit, the high pagoda, but after that, it becomes saturated. You're pretty good. You've got a total back protection scheme, which is actually quite effective for the Japanese. That being said, for the Japanese, it still can get you Citadel. You've got the upper deck plating, which is the side 32, but the top part is 57, so you'll be shattering all the HE you could ever ask to shatter. You've got your derpy guns, which will break often because they're Japanese. Again, only red armor, nothing too fancy, but overall, pretty good armored ship, honestly. Izumo doesn't take too much punishment from the front. Particularly from the front, it does well there. So when you're angled on Izumo, you're pretty good. The problem with the back of Izumo, you've got these shell catchers where the shells have a flat angle right in your butt there, right in that no square, and they can do some pretty nasty stuff to you. So just be careful about tanking from the rear. You can do it, but just be a little bit careful with it. So that's realistically what a Yamato sees, but the top part is also 57, so you're actually quite resilient to Yamato shots, which is quite good. In comparison to the Yamagi or Ki, which actually just gets melted by a Magi. So, by Yamato, sorry. High range as well. It has a 2.0 Sigma, so it's actually currently the most accurate tier 8 that we have with a 2.0 Sigma, which is nice. Though it is astonishingly detectable for some odd reason. Pretty much everything else is in a kilometer better. 13.8, it's in 14.8, as you can see for Izumo with a full stealth here. Well, always full stuff. We're all running a similar build here, just running full camo schemes. And you can see the difference is quite extreme. For some odd reason, the Izumo got a really bad detection, and it is a bit unfortunate, honestly, to say the least, because it really should be a bit more stealthy, because that's the Japanese gimmick, no? Usually, because we have Kondo as a commander. But hey, I'm not going to complain too much. I just think the detection number was a little bit high in this boat, but hey, we'll see. Anyway, let's go into battle and see how things go. So, guys, we actually played this on stream. I thought it was a good idea to feature what the Izumo can do. I kind of like to slow push with the Izumo. You want to get yourself catching those broadsides because you've got really good accurate guns and they're quite punchy. And you wouldn't want to be capitalizing shooting things with your sight. You want to try and use your derpy gun at the back here, because the derpy gun can't turn like a 270, like almost through. It has to go round the back end of the ship every time. So instead of going through the front like Nelson guns do, because they overlap each other, it can't do that. It has to do a full rotation. So 90% of the time, if you're turning your guns often, you'll not be using that rear turret there. I say rear turret, just turret number 3 there, because they're all at the front. So you gotta be aware of that, and you gotta try and use it as much as you can, because it's an extra 3 guns you're not having. That's 20% more firepower that you have the option to use, but by the time you're firing your third gun turret, you're probably not angled enough. So that's your wee signature sign of if you're angling correctly in Izumo. Anyway, back onto the game here. We're using island cover to push forward. It's typical strategy for all BBs. If you want to get closer, you need to use island cover. It works for cruisers, it works for destroyers, it works for everybody. You want to use islands to your advantage. So yeah, AA again, it's tier 8, so you actually got reasonable AA. It's not a thing too amazing because it's a Japanese battleship, and usually they're pretty bad, except the key. Your secondaries can do some work, so don't be too afraid of getting a little bit close. You can slow push. That is what I've been trying to say. You can slow push a little bit with Izumo. You can get some really nasty shots in because of that high accuracy, sorry, should I say. You got punchy guns. These are nice for 410mm guns. These are quite nice 410 for the Japanese. Like the Yamagi has some pen issues. The Key has even worse pen issues because that's World War I guns. But the Izumo doesn't have too many of those problems. It's definitely better penetration than the Magi does, and obviously it has that high accuracy compared to other nations, but you still can get the pretty derpy shots. The Izumo's typical is just like all the Japanese battleships. Their vertical dispersion isn't too great, but the horizontal dispersion is fine. So you really want good vertical dispersion and potentially bad horizontal because it doesn't really matter too much. You just want a better vertical dispersion, but the Japanese have that issue when they have not too great vertical dispersion. But at range, they don't suffer too much from their accuracy, which is nice. So you can get some really good shots in broadside targets if you're patient and you've got some range on your side, which the Izumo and most Japanese battleships do. You can get some good ranging shots like this, catching people unaware and just absolutely blapping them. That's 19k there to start off the game. There, we obviously one hit DD there, but still 2 shots, not bad considering it's a destroyer after all. We're going to push it again. Slow pushing with Izumo is what I'd recommend. You can get some really good results here. Frederick over here is still giving flat broadside. He's the best target to shoot at right now. I could shoot at other targets, probably get some decent chunk damage, but if I catch something broadside, that's probably the best option up here. 4 pens again, bumping ourselves up to 39k. Basically 3 shots, it's not bad at all. You could easily get out of 1. I've citadeled Freddy's comfortably, and you can do it in a lot of other BBs as well, provided they give the broadsides, and even if they don't, sometimes you can get some cheeky shots. Black seems to be pushing, but there's a lot of friendly chips here, so we can just butcher him as soon as he comes around the corner, and then at this range you can see the Izumo just doesn't give a damn, and the accuracy is 100% there. Just gonna fire our guns there. Look at that, really nice dispersion there. Again, it's only at 3 kilometers, but you know, it's nice having a battleship caliber, a battleship gun that is nice and reliable. Obviously, you have a lot with the Japanese, with the Americans and French, but for the Japanese, it can be a little bit trolly, so it's nice to have really, really accurate guns when you need them to be. So yeah, Kagero, I don't know what he's doing, unfortunately, but he's having a rough time. So we're just going to see if we can punish him here. Aim a little bit high up because you don't really want to aim too low in the waterline for DDs. We get a little bit unlucky there, it splashes all around it, but you can see the grouping was 100% there. Again, we built into it, and still not bad, but you can get the derpy shots because that's just typical of the Japanese battleship line. So next target, what's the best option for us? Flandry is there, but he's quite well angled. Probably take another shot at Freddy there, honestly. If I can aim a little bit higher up, maybe get a citadel on him, and then take that rear gun turret there, which I saw you barely used too much, and try and get the hit on Flandry there. We've got a pretty good comfortable angle against Flandry and pretty much every other battleship here. The only one we're kind of struggling with is Vanguard, but we're giving basically Bell 1 to him, which is perfectly fine. No one's shooting us, which is odd, but hey, that's perfectly fine, at least for me at least. That battleship there who's giving flat broadside is presenting a much better target. You kind of want to be in this sort of situation where you're not the best optimal target for them to shoot, but you want to be creating those crossfires. Crossfires in Izumo is really nice. You get some spicy shots just like that. And as you can see, we can really do some really bad punishment on boats that are broadside. That was a Freddy there, double citadel. You can saw he just got smacked. He should have been deleted there, but he did get unlucky for a second shot. But hey, I'll take 2 citadels any day. That's perfectly fine. Now, at the current moment, we are giving kind of a broadside to Bismarck, Flandry, and just to Bismarck and Flandry, but we're going to be mitigating that shortly again. Hull upgrade will help you get these turning off, get this turning, because obviously it becomes like from 26 seconds to 20, which is quite a sizable difference. Those 6 seconds could mean life or death, so it's quite nice. Meantime, we'll just do some a little bit of damage, a wee bit chip damage on Bismarck guns there, and we'll push into this island and use it to our advantage. This way we can continue our slow push and still get some stuff done. Gotta watch out for Vanguard. He's the biggest threat right now because he can capitalise on potentially a broadside shot, but Vanguard AP will kind of struggle to do too much to our broadside. Remember, tier 8 versus tier 7. Vanguard does have the short fuse AP, which does lack the penetration, so we'll have to see what he can pull off. But in the meantime, we can use island cover to cover our butts, really. Literally and both figuratively as well. So we could use this, and then we'll turn in here, get us a nice bow on angle to the other battleships, whereas you just keep an eye on Vanguard. You possibly could arc over the shot, but right now, let's just not worry about that. Let's just put him forward here, because it looks like Vanguard has got different fish to fry. Let's push Bismarck a little bit more. Usually Bismarck has the advantage in this situation, but we're pushing into an island as well, so you really can't shoot back. Plus, keeping the pressure on, making sure they don't retake these caps, is quite good. It's really important, honestly. Again, that's what I mean by the slow push nature. If you can just keep progressing your threat as a boat there, Vanguard takes a wee pot shot of HE. Always good there to know that he's firing HE. It does shatter off our broadside, which is always nice. We do need to try and mitigate that just in case he switches to AP. But we do have a large health pool. We've not really been shot too much, so it's not too big a deal. And again, as we discussed before, Vanguard may not have the penetration to actually get comfortable citadels. He might get some juicy pens though. But once we angle a little bit, it's actually a really good armor scheme for the Japanese. The Izumo, you can get some really comfortable shots in. And Vanguard doesn't see us right now, but we see him. Accuracy plane here. Let's fire at the Vanguard. Let's get some really nice shots here. Hopefully we can get some decent shots. Looks pretty good. We get a nice citadel. Could have been a bit more, but hey, I'm happy with that. It's a pretty spicy shot. See if we can get another shot off before the accuracy plane dissipates, or returns to the ship. Yeah, because it lands in the sea, isn't it? It's very weird. These accuracy planes or the spotter planes, or it is. No, we lose out on that because it's a bit too long a reload. Paolo might be a really good choice here. It does turn out, it's a little bit low on our shot, but we don't mind turning out here because he's still firing HE. We see, well, not that low evidently. It was a very good shot actually. And we get another decent shot on him, but we don't actually try to kill him. Bismarck decides to push, but with too much, that health pool is just so... He just doesn't have the health to push that comfortably. Flandry's also getting involved, which is quite good by his team play. If you're going to push, you might as well all do it. But at the same time, you just don't have enough health to do the push, so that's him down. One gun, hold the other gun, and just fire here. Usually I don't like holding gunfire, but in this situation, he's on such low health. One gun is definitely going to do it. You're better to get the results on Flandry. Now, this is a bit risky here. If I want to reverse here, I could potentially get rammed by Flandry, so we're going to go like this. Have all our guns facing him, and we're going to have to deal with it, but it's a little bit risky, not going to lie. So, fortunately, he beats himself trying to do what his strategy was. Risky, I think a bit of misplaying my part, honestly, but fortunately he misplayed too. I wouldn't recommend doing what I did. I would just straight up recommend full reverse here. This would have been the better option, the better play, and I'm going to tell you guys this in advance. This is more of a, these are MasterClass guides, yes, true, but at the same time, I do make mistakes. I'm not perfect, but I will highlight the mistakes. I will critique my own gameplay 100% because that is how I should be doing these guides, because I want to give you guys as much information as possible. So yeah, Flandry misplayed there, so did we there. We could have just been in this position the entire time, would have been fine, but you got to be aware of those rams sometimes. Bismarck is giving flat broadside again. He's pretty low. Can we just get the last final shot on the guy? Yes, we do. We pick up the 4 kills there, and all that's left is the Vanguard and the carrier. And yeah, we're going to push forward because there's no other threats really besides Vanguard. And we've really not taken too much damage. They've not really had to choice to shoot us. We're just not a very good target for people to shoot at. Because would you rather shoot at an angled Izumo or a broadside of a target, or almost anything else? It's not very difficult. It's very difficult to damage the Izumo with AP actually, besides breaking his guns. You can break his guns in Izumo, but yeah. As you can see, our grouping is so nice. Look at that shot in Vanguard. It's a shame we missed because he died, but the shot looked really nice. The grouping was really quite good. And guess what pops up again? The Pobeda, which is quite annoying considering we are next to the island. But hey, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. So yeah, we'll fire what we can. Just load until we are full salvo guns here. Maybe we can dev strike him. That's my good hope. That's my hope here, honestly. Fire all 3. Again, we don't have to give a full broadside to a carrier because they don't actually have any guns. We get a decent shot, do we? It spreads a little bit. Nah. Let's see what we get. Oh, almost dev strike the man. But I don't believe we get the Kraken. No, we don't. Just the 4 kills. The 203,000 damage. It's not bad, not bad. Pretty good game. By far, probably my best game in Izumo. It is a bit difficult to make it work, but it can be worked. I really enjoy the boat, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, I'll leave you, catch you all next time. Hope you enjoyed the intro as well as the outro. That should be playing now. And yeah, let me know down below in the comments section, guys. Like if you haven't already, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye for now.